All right. 12:15 has officially struck. We should begin. So,
Of course.
let's see here. Miss Elcione, if you could set the stage since we're in Dolina. Going forward, we'll be in character, and go ahead, Miss Glass Spider.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming today. I know that it's around about the holidays for most of us, even if we don't have calendars, and the trip is often very difficult. But I really appreciate all of the voices and their guards who have come today to continue the business that we started a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, Lamau, Calzone.
We're in character. I think the last summit went very well, but I think that there are a few things that we can do to clean it up a little bit so that everybody gets a fair chance to speak and that everything is very clear. So I have here a bit of an agenda. There are a couple of carryover items from the previous summit to discuss, and a couple of changes to the format. Specifically, we'll go through again and introduce ourselves to each other, because I think we do have some new people here. I may be wrong about that, but we'll just reconnect as well. We'll do a short recap of the agenda items that are carryovers from last time. We'll vote on any of them that require voting.
User joined your channel.
And then we'll open up the floor systematically to each faction's voices to present their agenda item for discussion and voting. And the discussion will go as follows for each subject. Whoever is putting forth the agenda item or the motion will have 2 minutes to speak about their agenda item or their motion. And then we will go around to the voices, and everyone will have a chance for a short 30-second rebuttal. After that, a vote will be pursued. Our secretary this time around is Joffrey, I think.
Hey, wake up.
Well, not Joffrey, but Joffrey. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, Roger could not be with us. So his stand-in is here, and he's got a lovely new ballot box, O'Sealy straw poll, where everybody can very quickly and easily put forth their votes. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody have any questions or concerns?
No.
How do we access the poll box?
I will be handing out slips of paper. You just write on that.
Please.
It's very easy. Trust me, it's as simple as writing. Like right here, this here is a sample piece of paper that I could hand you. If you could just write on that, please, real quick.
Oh, damn it.
What?
Please don't laugh at the subject matter. I just wrote something down quickly.
Now see here, I feel like I'm being attacked.
It updates in real time. All right, that's cool.
I apologize. I didn't make it. Okay. That's how the voting works. Go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
That's great. No, thank you very much. And as last time, or as discussed last time, the results of every measure will be published at the end of each vote. Also, just like last time, if you want to take the floor, you'll need to indicate by throwing a piece of paper at the secretary, i.e. poking O'Sealy. So does that...
just so we're clear, if you'd like to have the floor, just go ahead and, throw that piece of paper at me, and I'll make sure that Miss Alyssa knows that you want to talk.
And do we have someone with a recording device to record? Because I'll also be trying to keep minutes.
Yeah, I believe Officer Smith does.
I do not, see.
Oh, shit. My bad.
I forgot the tape recorder at home.
That's okay. The recording will be covered. And I'll be keeping minutes as well. Okay, so let's get started with a recap of the last summit. As many of you may remember, the Pestilence Brotherhood was declared a terrorist faction. Unfortunately, things were a little akimbo, and we did not get to discuss what exactly are the consequences of being deemed a terrorist faction. What exactly is that going to mean for the Pestilence Brotherhood, and is there a way to resolve that status? So I thought I might open that up to anybody who has an opinion on that. Just poke the secretary and let us know if that's something that you guys are interested in discussing.
Well, if they're terrorists, I mean that means they're bad people, right?
I would certainly agree that that means that they're bad people, probably killing people without any good reason. But what are we to do about that? Shall we not have them at the summits anymore? Shall they not have a voice in the representation? Should they be hunted down? Should they be locked up? Is that something that we even want to have jurisdiction over, or is this just a public service announcement? We, people of the SZNU, consider this group of people to be terrorists.
Madam, the South Segordia Police Department, Voice 1 wants to have the floor, followed by two
Your
others.
channel started recording.
And we recognize the voice of the South Zagoria Police Department. You have 2 minutes, if you want them.
Does that 2 minutes start now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, you see here, our plan is for usual criminals,
User
we
in your
will
channel
detain
is
on site.
recording.
Lock them up, maybe reform them. Try to reform if detained on site and they do not, resist.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add about military-grade rifles being carried around by civilians. If they do not have a permit,
No, wait,
they will
hold
be
on.
User
confiscated.
left your
Detective,
One motion
hold
at a
on.
time.
Oh,
Yes,
one
one
at a
motion
time,
at a time,
oh,
please.
my bad. I was confused. My dope. Sorry.
As I was saying, reform to be usual citizens, and if they wish to carry their usual firearms, since they are a terrorist organization, they obviously have firearms most likely, they will have to go through a gun permit testing, which will be conducted by detectives and SCPD officers.
So I understand that your faction is volunteering to uphold sort of the law in regards to terrorist status and attempt to reform and rehabilitate people that are deemed to be terrorists. Is that correct?
That is correct, but there is a little limit to this. We are a bit few in numbers, so we only have a limited space area of areas between Vybor and Grishnino. If caught in those areas, we will detain and reform.
Perhaps that can be rectified. I believe you guys were not in attendance at the last summit where we made some revisions to the map, but we will be discussing those in another motion.
All right, fair enough. Shang. Good cup of Joe.
All right. Well, was that an official motion that we should vote on later, or is that something we want to do right now, or how would you like to handle this, Miss Lucy?
It sounds to me like the group is sort of volunteering their own personal time and their resources to uphold this law. I'm not certain that we need to regulate that. It sounds like they'll be doing that. Am I correct in that, voice of PD?
Yes, you are correct.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. They're going to help us no matter what. Oh, okay. All right, Miss Alyssa, the next person who'd like to. Oh, he threw paper really hard. The Vigil. The Vigil wants to have the floor.
The floor recognizes the voice of the Vigil.
Are we still talking about the matter of the Pestilence Brotherhood, or?
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, in regards to the meeting such as today, I feel that they should not have a voice in, say, in political matters, but I think that they should still attend and being able to hear what is still going on. I just feel that they shouldn't have a voice or decide what actually happens, as they are a terrorist organization. That's just what I think.
So the Vigil puts forth that they should be attending the summits, but that they will not have a vote in motions. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And does anybody have an idea, could they perhaps get a sponsor to put forth a motion that they be deemed not a terrorist organization anymore in the future?
Could you repeat that for me, Miss? I missed that.
Since they would not have a voice in the voting, Could they, let's say that
User in
a
your
group that
channel
has
is
been deemed a
recording.
terrorist faction wants to resolve that. Perhaps they've decided that they don't want to be a terrorist faction anymore. They've changed maybe their mode of operation or whatever. They would like to get their voting status back. Is it possible for them to, say, obtain a sponsor by within one of the voices of a faction and have that sponsor put forth a motion to overturn their terrorist status? So during the time that they're considered terrorists, they would not have voting rights at the summit, but then they would have the ability to reform.
Well, certainly. I think that would be handled by the courts once they're set up, don't you think, Miss Alyssa?
Well, it may very well be the case that would have the courts deciding on terrorist status, but then we would have to have sort of a method by which we overturn it if they want to come back. I guess we can vote on that. Do we want the courts to handle that, or do we want us to handle that?
I think it'd be relevant to ask the pestilence people if they want to come back or not. Otherwise, really, it's a moot point at this juncture.
Well, I'm also thinking that there may be other terrorist factions in the future.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying that could be handled at that time. I don't know. I'm just a secretary.
Is there anybody else who would like the floor on this subject? We don't have to go to a vote.
Yeah, the next person who'd like to speak is from Lubbock.
Floor recognizes the voice of Lubbock.
I just wanted to say that we need clear rules defining what a terrorist is. Like, a robber is not a terrorist, I don't believe. Neither are murderers. We need, like, clear rules so we know what we're dealing with here.
I agree, and I think this is sort of a subsection. What exactly are we, well, the panel last time voted on whether or not it considered this group a terrorist group. Perhaps that's sufficient. We each sort of have our own definitions of terrorism and what we consider terrorism. It takes a majority vote here to declare a terrorist faction.
Would you like to rebuttal that, Mr. Lubbock?
No, that sounds right. If the whole panel agrees that they're terrorists, and they are.
Okay, Miss Alyssa, the roamer's voice would like the floor.
Floor recognizes the roamer's voice.
Hi there. I'm just having a hard time to remember last time when people put forward the vote them as terrorists. What evidence was actually provided to classify them as terrorists, and were they given the chance to actually defend against those accusations?
Actually, it happened very quickly, and I think that that was not the case. Of course, we're going to be ratifying, hopefully, a court system today. And so there was not evidence, there was just the vote. And that is something that does concern me for future votes and other factions as well.
Would the Pestilence Brotherhood like to rebuttal that point? Okay. All right. Miss Alyssa, the marshal would like to voice.
The floor recognizes the marshal as the voice of the trust.
Good afternoon, Miss Morgan and everyone else. I just wanted to expand a little bit on what we actually define as terrorists and what that means. It is my honest opinion, and this is not just to encompass pestilence, this is for all that are deemed as a threat to the SZNU or to particular, but if someone is deemed as a threat to us, why are we going to allow them to have a set of ears inside the SZNU summit where people are discussing things that are potentially quite sensitive for future plans that could be used against the people of this summit or the people involved with those of this summit, say the PD. They want to start up a new plan to do such and this or something else, and they voice that plan, and so then whoever it is that disagrees with that, that's been marked as a terrorist organization, goes to this location with just the pure intentions of, I believe the words used in the last summit were to fuck with them all, throwing some bullets around and things upon that nature. So why are we going to allow sensitive information to be given out to people that it's already been acknowledged we can't trust and can't have around us?
5 seconds.
That's it.
I think that's an excellent point, sir, and as Mr. Cade also brought up, they did in fact say that they were here to fuck everyone's shit up. I wasn't sure exactly how serious that was. However, that is exactly one of the things we can vote on today, and if that's not something that you want, you do not have to vote for that motion, and that holds true for anyone here.
Would the Pestilence Brotherhood like to rebuttal any of the aforementioned accusations? Okay. Well, I suppose is that the first motion I'm supposed to make?
Yes, I move that we put this to a vote. The vote for this one being, shall those who've been deemed terrorists be allowed to be continued to admission into the SZNU summits? Yes or no?
Okay, let me write that down on my piece of paper and I'll hand it out to everyone.
A lot of paper.
No, I'm trying, Mr. O'Kee.
Really appreciate everybody's patience as we basically get government up and running from scratch again.
Okay, I think I handed out the proper amounts of paper. Go ahead and toss those back at me when you're done. Okay, we'll have 15 more seconds for the voting. Oh my. Okay, Miss Alyssa?
Yes.
Well, majority favors that terrorists who do not want to reform should not be allowed at the summits in any form or fashion.
So, the motion passes that those who have been deemed terrorists should not be in attendance at summits. Do we want that to be the case for the remainder of this summit, or shall we enact that at the next?
I think we should enact it at the next one.
I agree.
That's just my opinion.
Does anyone disagree strongly?
I do.
We can put it to a quick vote. Shall we enact this rule now or at the next summit?
Oh boy! Oh boy! All right. Oh boy! Let me get some more paper out.
Shouldn't we wait until the trial has been held?
Yeah, I think I'm with that guy. Like, they need a trial before we just fuck them up. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
But we put it to a vote, and the vote was overwhelming that terrorists who do not want to be reformed should not be allowed at the summits.
Oh yeah, Mrs. I understand that, and that's good that everyone agrees that they're bad guys. But that's just the first accusation that everyone, voted on. So everyone says they're bad guys, but before we can act upon, calling them bad guys, we should hold the trial, and then should they be proven to be bad guys, that's when we break out the stick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
well, that sounds to me like a further consequence of being declared a terrorist, that you then go through the court system to determine innocence or guilt, and that we perhaps need to get that.
Yeah, I agree with the big guy over there. You should hold a trial,
hold on, Mr.
You can't deem people.
Higgins,
then the title should be taken away for them being called terrorists.
We voted for the fact of if terrorists should be allowed to attend our thing, not if the Pestilence Brotherhood should.
I know, but they are terrorists.
The Pestilence Brotherhood was determined by vote to be a terrorist faction at the
I'm aware of
previous
that.
summit, which is why this is a carryover agenda item. I think the goal of the SZNU is to represent the voice of the people as fairly and completely as possible, which is, I think, why it's very important to figure out what we were going to do about or with those who are declared terrorists. I personally am all for having an actual trial for them. But the vote was should they be allowed to hear what's going on in these summits until said time. Or at all. Maybe they should not be allowed to hear the summits until they've gone through due process. Do we need to hold a vote on that?
I think we do.
Agreed.
All right, let me get some more goddamn paper out. Mm-hmm.
Ah, shit, it's hot. Fuck.
All right, okay, I got the paper. I'm gonna be handing it out to everyone. Okay. Okay, 30 more seconds on voting. Okay, that does it. Madam Melissa, the majority votes that terrorists should be removed from the summits until they have appeared in court to ascertain their guiltiness in their accusations.
Excellent. I'm proud of the voices here. I think that's a very fair way to go.
I'm seeing a lot more pieces of paper floating around up to the front than I am seeing representatives here.
I'm sorry, could you clarify about what you mean by that?
I'm saying that I see about maybe 16 or so, 15 pieces of paper floating around, but I know that we don't have
I see
that
only
many,
14 pieces of paper.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Oh, so you can only count from so far away, but I happen to know that that doesn't quite match up with the amount of representatives that we have here, and I know we have two guests, the current group that we are.
Well, I mean, I think the only guest we have here today is the Zabor. They like watching these things because it's in their interest, but the Pestilence still have a
Do we
voice
seem
until
like
they
a
don't.
guest to you? We're not
Well, I mean,
guests.
I know, it's our country. Why are we guests in our own country?
Did
No,
the
you're a
did the
guest
Zabor
in
not
here,
vote
not,
to?
you know, like, okay, hold on, madam. I don't want to insult anyone at the table. Am I correct in calling you a guest?
You are wrong.
Okay, so you...
I believe the secretary intends to mean that we here in this building are offering you hospitality and welcome you here.
We have the right to vote.
Here?
And our status is observer, not guest.
Okay, observer. I understand observer. I should have said observer instead of guest. But as observers, I had talked to one of the gentlemen early on. Well, I didn't, but
someone else did, and I was told they were informed that they could watch, but they couldn't really vote because they didn't want to play ball, I guess. I don't know. It was a weird conversation.
So you're taking our vote from us, are you? Even though we don't want to actively contribute, we still should have a say in how our country is run.
This summit was given to understand in the first summit that your people did not want that status, that they did not want to participate with this summit.
Yeah, we're just trying to clear up the confusion. So you guys do want to participate. I guess that's all I'm asking. Just to...
Voting status. We may not always cast voice, but we always want a chance to vote, even though
it
we
is
just be
acceptable
watching.
to abstain from any motion.
I know, but you're taking our vote completely from us.
No. We're just trying to figure out what
We
you are.
understood that you guys did not wish to vote with the summit
Well,
and
we
move
do.
with its actions.
Simply put, the Zabor has a voice in this, and if you don't like it, certain consequences will follow. Simply put.
I believe that things are getting a bit more threatening than necessary, and that there's a bit of a misunderstanding here. We were
These
given
are
to
not
understand that the
threatening. We are
Zabor...
putting,
Please
as
order
we sent a
on the
letter
floor.
to the nation.
We were given to understand that your faction did not wish to participate in the voting and the laws that were put forth by the people and the representatives here, and that you did not wish to vote.
Nay, I sent message, I'm Minister for Foreign Affairs, I sent message to the General Secretariat of the Summit earlier in the week. It was to our understanding, and I don't know who signed it, I don't have document with me, but I can tell you this, I said that we have right to vote, and whoever responded to it, the Master of Ceremonies, did not say anything about us not having a vote, and I put it in a letter that we have vote, and he did not object to it.
All right, well,
I
that's
think
just his fault
it is
then,
not again.
so-
It's not our goal to take the voices away from anybody. Our goal again is, I think, to represent all of the people of South Cherner as fairly as possible. So I, for one, have no problem giving Zabor their vote if they wish to have them. Does anybody not concur?
No, I think they should vote. I just didn't know they wanted to. I think that was my fault. I'm a really bad secretary.
And I do extend my
I second
deepest
that.
apologies to the Zabor. We certainly, again, do not mean to shut anybody down.
All right, not to sound dismissive or anything, but the trust would like the floor.
Floor recognizes the trust.
Go ahead.
30 seconds.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Sweeney. I wanted to bring up the fact of maybe we together as this people, as we get together in the summit, we get in the medical trade where those medical supplies are rash and scarce over the land. Maybe we can set up some kind of trade route
5
or
seconds.
medical center for the land.
Time. With all due respect, I would like to suggest respectfully that you hold this as your faction's motion to put forth a little later in the agenda, and you'll have a full 2 minutes to discuss why that's important and why we should vote on it.
All right. Well, what's next on the agenda, madam?
Actually, I made a mistake and should have invited the Voices of the Roamers to introduce themselves to this summit, and to give the rest of the factions a chance to introduce ourselves to them if they wanted to before we got into the motion. So I'd like to open up the floor to the Voices of the Roamers. Give us about a minute and a half about who you are and what your group does.
Good day, everyone. Quick thing, we're basically just a trading group of sorts. That's it, really.
Oh, hello, Mr. Trader. Trader.
And what are your names?
My name is Stranic, and the gentleman next to me is Connor.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to the summit.
Your channel is recording.
Well, there's someone who just walked in. I don't know their face.
That's a good thing we're doing introductions to the folks who just joined us. Please introduce yourselves. Let us know what faction you speak for.
That would probably be me. My name is Elena Vale. I represent the matchmaking services of Chinaris, and it is really nice to talk to all of you guys today. And this is my friend Ragnar.
Oh, hello, Mr. Ragnar.
Welcome to the Voices of the Matchmakers.
Thank you, Love.
Welcome.
User in your channel is recording.
All right. Let's see here. I don't see too many new faces here. So I think we can move on.
User in your channel
Yes,
is
I
recording.
agree. And to that end, we have just completed the vote for
User left
removing
your
terrorists
channel.
from the summit in total until they have appeared in court. So I think it's probably time to move. I think that it's going to be most convenient to enact that rule for the next summit, so that anyone who's considered a terrorist faction has time to adjust.
User in your channel is recording.
Also, I would just like to point out my mistake that there's, I think, someone called the Vigil that's brand new here. Maybe they should tell us who the hell they are, because I don't think anyone knows them.
Oh, my apologies. Would the Voices of the Vigil like to introduce themselves?
Yeah, hello. My name is Sean Thompson, and beside me here is Dr. Martin. We are here to represent the Vigil, of course. Do you want us to tell you like what we represent or whatever?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, basically, we are, I don't know, we're like a group that likes to help people. We want to help anyone who needs it, and we would like to help establish a civilization. We wouldn't like to establish one ourselves, but we would like to help in the making of it. If anyone ever needs anything, Vigil's more than willing to help. We are a neutral group as well. We don't start wars, we don't try to, but if you do attack us, we will defend ourselves, obviously. That is all, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Miss Alyssa, also the police department would like to introduce themselves.
Okay, final introduction, and then after that, Voice 2 of the Zabor would like the floor. So, introduction from the PD.
Hey, we're the South Scoring Police Department here. Detective George Higgins here with my buddy Officer Smith. I'm with the Homicide Unit. We have, if you ever want to talk to us, we have a precinct in Bushino and Vybor. I think the Bomb Squad unit is at Vybor at the moment. So, yeah, if you guys want to report anything, we'll be there.
And as the name implies, we're mostly just a police department.
And we appreciate your services.
We also have a frequency, 173.8.
Excellent. We should all keep that down in the minutes and hopefully publish that for everyone. The floor recognizes the second voice of the Zabor.
Thanking you. I'm not really sure how chamber proceedings work, but I'd like to propose a motion for outlawing a certain organization of this summit. I don't feel that they should have the right to have a voice here, and I feel that they also have bad ideals for restoring civilization here in Paris. Therefore, I'm proposing a motion and a debate for the removal and outlawing of the matchmakers, and regarding them as terrorists in the future.
May I keep this as your motion to put forth a little later in the agenda?
I don't know.
And at that time, I'll give you 2 minutes to discuss and present any evidence, and 30 seconds for any faction to rebuttal.
Oh shit, shit's getting hot. Oh boy.
That sounds good. Let's do that. I have a few things I'd like to say about that.
Each faction will be able to put forth a single motion, and they will have the opportunity to take 2 minutes to discuss why that motion is important, why we should vote for them, and other factions will have 30 seconds to rebuttal. Then it will go to a vote. So we have, I believe, the Vigil wanting to discuss some medical centers, and now we have the Zabor wanting to discuss outlawing matchmakers. At the moment, however, we need to get our way through some of the carryover agenda items. One moment, please. The Secretary would like the floor. Mr. Secretary, go ahead, please.
Kind of piggybacking off what you just said about previous items, we had talked and voted on about setting up a, in my notes here it says a court system. It is under my assumptions that the court system actually was built and was ready to present to you all, but unfortunately the Minutemen, who is carrying the new ratified map, and the new court system were shot by the French Foreign Legion earlier this week. So all those papers, well, they're gone. So
Well,
Mr.
thank you
Secretary,
for that
I
information.
provided a draft of
Useless.
a court system. Was it, or is it able to be disseminated?
yeah, I'm just going to use the Chinaris post next time. I used Mr. Joffrey's Minutemen because he said I could, and unfortunately they got shot. So now I'm going to use a more official way of getting this out.
I am very sorry for your loss, Mr. Secretary.
Well, they're not my men, so, I mean, whatever. Anyway,
So in that
that's,
case,
that's
well,
why,
I think also, given the existence of a couple of new factions, we may have to actually redraw the lines of the map beyond what we drafted at the previous summit to include the new voices.
The cartographer will handle that off duty, I think. He'll get in touch with them.
But we also do need to ratify the court system as it's proposed too. It's a pretty simple proposal, but I think will be very effective.
Well, yeah, I think we should discuss that perhaps during the motions, and then just tell everyone what it's about. And I think most everyone's on board because they sounded like they were last time. So I think we'll just kind of get that train moving.
Okay, Mr. Secretary. Yeah, do you want to present the court outline that we have?
Okay, are we officially moving towards the motions then?
Yes. This is the second agenda item as a carryover item. We need to ratify the court system or not.
All right. Let me look at my notes here. Oh God. All right, Miss Alyssa, maybe you should read this out because you were the front runner on this.
Okay, that's fine. It's very short. This is the structure of a court system that I think that we can ratify and put into effectiveness probably by the next summit, once we get candidates for judges. So, I propose a court system that behaves in the following manner. The SZNU Supreme Court shall hold jurisdiction over cases involving SZNU ratified laws only. If someone commits an action that has been deemed unlawful by SZNU, any citizen can bring forward a case to the Supreme Court against that person or group to determine their guilt or innocence and to determine a sentence for punishment in the case of a guilty verdict. The Supreme Court shall be made up of 5 citizens. Any faction can only have 1 Supreme Court judge at a time. Each faction may choose their candidate for the judgeship in any way they see fit. However, judges will be elected by the voices of the SZNU. A citizen may not be both voice and Supreme Court judge at the same time, even if elected. Each faction is encouraged to appoint or hire a prosecuting attorney who will present evidence for the factions against the accused before the courts. Those who are accused of crimes will be responsible for providing their own legal counsel. Voices can act as their faction's attorneys if they so desire. Most cases need to be decided with a 3-2 majority. However, cases involving capital punishment must be decided by a 4-1 majority. Most cases can be brought to the court by any citizen, except those involving capital crimes. These must be presented to the voices of the faction, and then, if voices agree, to the court. Elections for Supreme Court judge shall be held once every 3 months, and the decisions of the court are final, its sentences to be carried out with the help of citizens who participate in the SZNU. I'd like to open up the floor to rebuttals to any portion of this court system or anything that people feel need to be added, and then move towards a vote of accepting the court system.
I would just like to sum up what she just said. Basically, we're going to have a court system, right? And there's going to be 5 Supreme Justices, right? We're all going to have, whoever wants to be a Supreme Justice puts his face and placard on the walls, and then we all kind of vote who we want to have as our Supreme Justices. And we'll have 5 of those motherfuckers, right? And then that any problems in the court, those guys are going to decide what sort of problems should be handled in what way. And, yeah, and then the rest of the filler that she said applies, I guess. So if anyone would like to comment, please throw some paper at me and we'll get comments going, and then we will do a final vote on ratifying this thing. Alright, I don't see any pieces of paper being thrown at me, ma'am. Should I just write this out?
Let us go ahead and if no one dissents, let's go ahead and vote to ratify the court or not, the court as presented here. And we can. I think that we should also include an amendment that if there are problems, we can revisit the structure and add amendments to the court system by vote.
Okay, I just quickly scribbled some stuff here. I'm ready to hand out the slips of paper. Okay, everyone's got their slip of paper. 30 seconds on voting.
Word choices.
Mr. Postman, you'll have to actually write that on your paper. Did you vote, Mr. Postman?
Yeah.
Okay,
First time,
good.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you just look at the paper I put on the table, and then Okay, before I announce the voting, the Alcyon wants the floor, madam.
Floor recognizes Gerhard, the second voice of Alcyon.
Thanks very much. This is just something to address directly to the secretary. Please, would you mind to write in a bit more formal manner? This is not a kindergarten. Thanks.
Here.
I'm sorry, I'm not the real secretary. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this.
Still, it shall be possible that you write something formal on a letter.
Listen, this isn't my job. I was just asked at the last moment.
Okay,
I can't handle this sort of pressure.
order. I wonder if everyone feels if they had an ample chance to rebuttal or discuss this. It was very quiet when we called for rebuttals and discussion before. This is every faction's opportunity to discuss and amend any court system. If this court system fails, we're faced with a problem, since we previously voted that terrorists should have to go through our court system.
Is you having definition of terrorist?
Is that Lady Zoya?
Shut up, Pavel.
Please, this is a new, I don't think that I've seen you here at the summit before. Please introduce yourself. Let us know which faction you speak for.
Yeah, my name's Zoya, sent by French people, but I really voice of people. I not know how much I liking all these groups with all these guns, making decisions of those of us who like be left the fuck alone.
I agree completely.
I understand, and I welcome you to the summit today. For the purposes of the summit thus far, we have been defining a terrorist, or a terrorist faction, as a group of people that this summit votes are a terrorist faction. As of now, we have voted that anyone that we vote is a terrorist faction needs to then be tried with evidence and due process before a court system. And so that during that time, while they are considered by vote to be a terrorist faction, they shall not listen to the words of the voices of the summit until such time as they are deemed guilty or innocent by the court system, which we are hoping to ratify today in some way, shape, or form. Does that help bring you up to speed?
It, kind of, yes.
I would also be more than happy to talk with you one-on-one afterwards. Because I know you weren't here for the first one.
We've got an interesting event unfolding here. It seems that even though twice now everyone's ratified that they wanted a court system, now that the vote's actually up, it's 50-50 split on yes and no.
Oh, wow.
However, I could probably guess that the terrorist organization known as the Pestilence Brotherhood voted no. So I mean, do their votes really count?
Yeah,
Well, we voted that they do not have a voice. They do not have a vote.
That's effective immediately.
I'm just saying. It's a 50-50 split right now. I don't know if people really know what they want.
This is what the SZNU summit voted not to accept the votes of those who've been declared terrorist factions until such time as they've gone through a court system. So we cannot count your votes. My apologies.
Looks like the trust wants to have the floor.
The floor recognizes the voices of the trust.
Yes. To the rebuttal, the court system, I think the most I'd have to say is people aren't understanding what you're offering. As I'm sure people come from different countries, come from different ways of life, and this is the new way of life. And I understand we're trying to introduce government, but you have to be specific. You have to say, what is the good of this? I voted no. I'm going to tell you because I don't see the point. As we're going to have this system, but when you're out there all by yourself, you're the judge, you're the jury. So please explain that.
I understand. I think that's fair. And does anybody else have any additional comments for 30 seconds or dissension? And then I'll rebuttal.
I do.
Floor recognizes whoever that was that just said I do.
Sorry, I'm speaking for the Romans. I understand the whole point of having this court system. We're trying to bring back law and order to the land to, well, obviously there's no law. But if someone commits a crime that, that they need to be dealt with, then why would they turn up to court? Why, if they went around killing people, why would they go, oh, we have to go to court now? How are we going to ever... I don't see, it just seems to me like people just want to be in control, and it's not actually
5 seconds.
Well, I'll just finish there then. My point was through.
Would anybody else like the floor to comment or rebut?
I would like the floor.
Go ahead, take the floor.
Okay, so basically, like the court system, if someone kills someone out there, they shouldn't have to worry about coming to court. But I thought my understanding was the court system was more political rather than political events that we decide here, rather than what happens out there. That's pretty much it.
I will attempt to rebut these points all at once others have made any other dissensions. I'm noting these questions.
Is there any more
Would anybody
dissent?
else like the floor?
Post voice 1 would like to rebuttal to roamers.
Take the floor, 30 seconds.
I have to agree with the roamers. Before we put in a court system, I think we need to have a police system to enforce the laws and get the people that need to go to court to court. I don't know if this has been already talked over because I came in late.
As a matter of fact, one of the very first things that happened at this summit is that there is a small but already in existence police force that has volunteered to uphold the laws that the SZNU ratifies already, and they have a small area of the map. We're going to be drafting a little bit more area for them in the draft of the territories map, and they are already ready to start taking recruits and uphold those laws.
And who are they? Sorry, excuse me.
South Dorian Police Department.
That would
I'm afraid you may have missed their introduction. My apologies.
Never heard of them.
Nice. Newly established, so it's quite fair that you haven't heard of us yet.
And I would like to put forth that all of this is newly established. Any of it is, I believe that we're all going to have to revisit things and add to the structure.
Hey, wake up. Hey, wake up.
One of the things that I think that is most important about the court system is that we are coming together as a community to agree on things that we think are criminal, and to agree on what is a fair system of punishment or rehabilitation, so that we don't have just everybody's individual moral law running around. We can come together under laws that we agree are a problem, and under a system that we think is fair for determining how we will deal with the citizens. It's very difficult in the moment to come up with, what do I do with this person who has hurt me or who has done something that I feel like is a violation, and who can help me do it, because it's a very difficult world. The more we have well defined to come together under things that we say are legal or not in order to keep building this world that we've got, the more we're going to be able to survive. People will appreciate a sense of normalcy. People will appreciate having a police department to come to say, this is a problem, come help me, and a court system to say, yes, this is what we're going to do with or for these people who are not helping to rebuild, who are not helping us to survive. It doesn't always have to be about punishment either. We have a great opportunity to rebuild something better than what we were used to prior to the infection. We have an opportunity to bring people together to make something different, because the slate has been wiped clean. You as the voices have the obligation to help us create something that is worthy of all of our peoples. And Mr. Secretary would like the floor.
All right. I mean, this whole point of us kind of coming together, it kind of demands, how you say, like consequences, right? So yeah, we just called the Pestilence Brotherhood fucking terrorists, right? So say this court system doesn't go through. What's the real point of calling someone a terrorist other than to just poke their stomach and say, you're a fucking idiot? You know, we need some sort of teeth for this sort of organization. Otherwise, we're just kind of circle jerking around the ideas that we want, but nothing really gets done. Without the court system, nothing really applies. You know, we just say, hey, I want to kill Alyssa because she's a capital whatever murderer. And we all go, yeah, let's kill Alyssa. Okay, let's shake hands and leave. Now with the court system, she would, like, we would capture her, force her to come to the court and defend herself. You know what I mean? It's not like if someone's labeled a terrorist that they're just going to be asked to show up to court. If they don't show up voluntarily, we got to send people after them to bring them to court. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this. It's like, well, this is our teeth. Our teeth. That's all I got.
My main concern is who represents people without the larger groups of guns and bullshit to represent them, huh? People of my country who just try get by. They not have many friends, they just living. And you want to assume some court for them that don't like that.
Well, I mean, but this is why you have a voice here. And this is why because it's not just a, hey, what do you want to see in action? If you come and are the voice of your faction, then and we agree on certain motions and things, we expect that you go back to your people and tell them what is happening here. The police department is going to need more recruits. Perhaps certain people from our factions would like to volunteer for the police department on certain occasions and get training. Somebody else later on is going to make a motion for medical centers. Perhaps we're going to need to put educational things in place so that people can learn those things and volunteer to be a part of those medical centers. The things that we put in place here are going to have to be enacted by us and our people. That's why you guys have to speak for their well-being here, and that's why you're here.
The voice of the matchmaker would like the floor.
Take the floor, voice.
Absolutely. All right, so I have a few questions. So what is this going to do for all the small business owners that are trying to get by, you know, in these days and times and everything? I'm sorry, do you have anything constructive to say? Because that wasn't particularly constructive.
Continue, lady.
Jesus, one person at a time. Continue, madam.
Well, that was about all I had to say. I was wondering if they're like, what is it like? What's going to be offered to the small business owners?
I think that's an excellent question, and this is why the summit has a place in every summit for every single faction to put forward a motion that we can vote on. Now, some of the agendas might run long. We might not get to everybody's motions today, but within the court system that I have proposed, there is an amendment where the summit can put future amendments on. So say you know that you need the court to do something. You use your motion at a future summit, or this one, to put forth a vote. This is what's happening for small business owners, and we need the court to oversee this law. We don't have many laws in place yet for the court to even uphold, because those things are for this summit to decide and ratify. We will be building the laws here. So if you need laws that protect your small business, you have the opportunity on behalf of small business owners to put forth something like that. And we are developing a structure of a system with the police department, with a court system, with ratified laws put forth by the voices of the people, literally, to make sure that you get the protections that you need. And we're building the world where you can do this.
Madam, the roamers would like a voice.
The roamers?
Basically just adding on the court system thing, if, like you said, you can't get people to attend, maybe we should just, if they don't attend to it, just don't invite them to the summits anymore. They don't have a voice if they can't attend at all.
And see, I agree with that, but that would still require a court system for them to not show up to, I guess is all I'm saying.
Yeah, all I'm proposing is that they don't accord.
That's an excellent thing that someone could put forth as a law for us to vote on. Okay, if you don't appear at court dates so many times or whatever, we will vote you out of the summit, and you'll lose your faction's voice.
Okay, since it was a tie and we've heard both the for and against for this court system, we're going to do a revote.
Well, one of the points, if I may, I apologize, Mr. Secretary, one of the points was that maybe people did not understand what I was putting forth. So I'd like to recap briefly what this piece of writing said. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, just let's make it quick, we got stuff to do.
I'm talking about a panel of 5 judges who are elected by us, the voices, from each of the factions. The voices cannot be also judges at the same time. Each judge would have a time period in their seat of about 3 months. Each faction can put forth only 1 judge at a time. The voting on any case will only be about SZNU ratified law. So right now the only laws we have ratified are about territories and are about whether or not a faction are terrorists. So those are the only cases that could come forward until we make and ratify other laws. Most cases, except capital cases, would have to have a 3-2 majority for a guilty verdict. Capital cases would have to have a 4-1 majority for a guilty verdict.
Well, and with that, the matchmakers would like the
and if any others would like something added or changed, this is the time to discuss why that is or is not a good court system. So, yes, please take the floor, matchmakers.
Absolutely. All right, so it's my understanding that we already voted on this and that it was a perfect draw. So with that being said, I don't understand why we're going back and readdressing it. It seems like we should move on for now and then go to something else. And again, sir, I wasn't speaking to you directly. I was speaking to everybody. So maybe we should move on for now, and then at another time, maybe readdress this whole, this whole court thing, because it sounds like everybody's not in agreement.
I agree. I feel the same.
Vote. Okay, take it to a vote to table the court system until the next summit.
Fuck it, just table it.
We should move on, start addressing other motions.
Yeah, that's probably best.
Start with the motions.
It was 50-50, alright. Let's just move on to
Just
another
move on, yeah.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that puts us in conflict with a previous motion that was carried, which is why it was being discussed. But we can move on to taking motions from factions that have them. So the first motion that was mentioned earlier was, I believe, Was it from the roamers who wanted something about medical and trade routes?
No, that was not us.
That was the doctor guy.
That was Virgil.
Or was it the Vigil? I apologize.
Vigil, sorry.
It wasn't Virgil, no.
It was the doctor guy.
Was it Marshall
Sweeney,
Reyes, girl?
was that you?
Oh wait, sorry, we've been lost in this whole conversation. I forgot what I said.
No, it's fine. How about the Vigil explains to us their motion, and then we got a few other people who'd like to put forth theirs.
You have 2 minutes, voices of the Vigil.
Basically, we didn't put forth the idea of a medical thing, but we have a similar idea, kind of. We would like to see an established safe zone at some location, somewhere where people can go camp, trade, or even, for example, set up a medical zone to actually help people. The Vigil, members of the Vigil would be more than willing to oversee the camp or help with whatever it needs, for example, guards, people taking like a log of what happens there. Basically, a safe zone would be agreed to by all groups, and it's just somewhere where people can go to do whatever they want. Laws would be passed in the here for this safe zone, so everyone would agree on whatever law goes through. Like, for example, no weapons are to be shot within the premises of it, or you get the idea. That's all.
Excellent. So as I understand, you would like to put forth a motion to create a neutral, safe zone for medical help, trading, where laws would be established within this summit for the neutral zone and agreed to by all factions. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Would anybody like to rebut this motion? 30 seconds. Send your desire for the floor to the secretary, please.
The French Foreign Legion would like to speak first, and then there's one more after.
The floor recognizes the French Foreign Legion.
I just feel like having something like you could call a safe zone is kind of like giving people false hope, because nothing is ever going to be safe. We can all pat ourselves on the back, touch each other, whatever, give weird hugs, is never safe.
User in your channel is recording. User in your channel is recording.
All right, the Marshal would like the floor as well.
Marshal?
I have to say that I agree with Miss Zoya. Us advertising the fact of having a safe zone, in fact, makes the zone not safe at all, because it's going to get out and have people that like chaos, and they're going to mount up whatever fucking little group that they can muster up to go and cause trouble, if not disrupt the whole thing. So that's really all there is to it. If we name a safe zone, that's one of the least safe places to be.
Time.
Okay, the roamers would like to have a say about this.
Roamers?
Well, this isn't going against it or anything, but depending on the future situation and what is happening with this, if this settlement pops up, the Romans will happily help supply this settlement. That'll be all.
Any further rebuttals or support for the proposed motion? I'm sorry?
The Chernar's post would like a chance.
Floor recognizes the Chernaris Post.
While I do agree that it would be nice to have a safe location, I really honestly have to agree with Marshall here that announcing a safe location makes that not safe. I've seen multiple times on the radio take from 8 or 9 dead people in Green Mountain that's claimed it as their own safe location. They're not there anymore. I don't think this is a really good idea, and it could just cause harm and chaos to other people.
Any further dissensions or support? I move that we put it to a vote. neutral safe zone under SCNU law or not?
Okay, I got the paper. There was a typo on it. Please disregard the typo. Okay, 10 more seconds for voting. And I think all of the votes have been handed in. It's really close, homie, but looks like this motion barely passes with an 8% majority saying that they do want a medical zone that's neutral. So, that being said, I'll have to get a hold of the vigil, and we're gonna have to work closely about putting up some sort of information about this medical place. So I'll get a hold of you after the meeting. Okay.
The second voice from Zavor would like the floor.
No. Can I see the ballot paper, please? It appears that on this sheet there's something scratched out. I would like to make sure that nobody voted for that one, thus casting a void vote, in which I would have to call for the motion for this to be revoted with a clear piece of paper, with a secretary that can actually write ballot papers without making a fucking mess of it. Thank you.
Here.
Listen, I specifically said please ignore the typo, okay?
He made it clear.
I know, I want the vote count now, please.
Okay, let me count the votes. 1, 2, 3. We got 12 votes for yes. 1, 2, 3. We got 10 votes for no. Oh, and there's 2 here that decided not to vote by voting for the accidental scribble.
In that case, I'd like to move that this be revoted on a clear ballot sheet that does not have 3 options where there should only be 2.
Please,
Yeah, I mean, there was only 2 options. That third one
made it
isn't
very
really an
clear.
option.
He made it very clear not to vote for that.
The third can be
There's
considered
two
an
votes.
abstention, and it is valid to abstain from a vote.
Donkey vote.
I mean, we can revote if everybody wants to, but I mean, you weren't supposed to.
Just a waste of time. Let's move on.
Okay.
All
right.
Down.
And no one has to participate in the neutral medical zone if they wish not to. Any further motions do not have to be voted on. Anyone can abstain.
Okay, let's get to the next motion. I think the Miss Chinchilla, did you say you wanted to put forth a
wake
motion?
Yes, I have motion. Is motion to discredit anyone associated with non-blood drinkers from this meeting.
Oh,
That's
what?
true.
What?
Oh, actually, could we?
I'm sorry. Can you clarify that?
No, hold on. Let's
Is
wait.
lots of words and whispers about people known to be hanging out with people that drinking people blood. I think we string them up and kill them right now.
Okay, well, we would need a court system to ratify.
I could definitely detain them if needed.
Okay, there's
I
no
got the rope
violence
right
to
here.
be had at
Let me
this
see 'em.
at this meeting. I'm sorry.
I'm not at all certain how such a thing is relevant to the political proceedings of the people. I can't imagine that that's a very common issue.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that's. I mean, she had. Okay, can I rebuttal since no one else is asking to?
Certainly, take the floor.
All right. I think that this motion is not very good. I mean, it's just it's just someone complaining that they don't like a certain faction of people that they disagree with, and it's really hard to prove that they're blood drinkers, especially without supporting evidence and having maybe a court system to really look at it and see if it's valid or not. So I think it's a wasted motion. That's all I'm saying. That's all I have.
I second the rebuttal. Would anyone else like the floor?
All right, well, all right, we don't have any more for or against, so I guess that means we vote. Let me just get the paper together.
I'm against it.
Why?
I think the motion is very unclear. Go ahead.
And do I? Exactly is we can't vote on a court system, and we can't. I mean, then how can we tell if anybody's anything, blood drinkers, terrorists, or anything like that? How do we deem that?
This is where I think a group of people to weigh evidence about such things is very important.
Oh well. All right.
I mean, we can go around pointing the finger. Whoever, I guess, and this time is whoever has the biggest gun. Is that?
Yes, but we have to keep in mind we can't exactly charge our video recorders and record people committing terrorist acts.
Oh, there's still like Polaroids around. I mean, it's not hard to snap a picture.
And does anyone have a Polaroid?
Oh, I do. I've got a
Some
couple
people
of
do.
them.
There are, in fact, a few cameras left in the country. There are also other forms of evidence and witnesses.
I would like to add that the police department has several tape recorders still in possession. So if we get a confession out, we can use that as substantial evidence. Thank you.
All right, let's do the vote on this this motion, and then if anyone else would like a motion, we'll start the new one. Well, here's your piece of paper. I didn't write any typos on this one, I don't think. All right, 10 more seconds for voting. Okay, Madam Alyssa, the votes have come in, and it seems that there are 14 for no versus 11 for yes, so blood drinkers are currently safe.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Lucky bitch.
And come on. Okay.
Fucking vamps.
All right.
And I believe the Zabor had a motion to put forth. Is that correct?
No, that is correct.
Jesus.
Do I have the floor?
Yes, please, sir.
No, I have little speech. Madam Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Secretary, my fellow delegates, and unwanted guests and listeners. I, Pavel Spilensky, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian National Renewal Movement, herein known as the Zabor, move to classify the matchmakers as terrorists of the state. As the Zabor Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have dealt often with problems caused by them firsthand. These human traffickers have caused untold trouble in this glorious country time and time again. With human trafficking across the country. Only this evening I stumbled across them in Vybor, up by the water thingy. And they were trying to get one of their hostages to lick blood off their knife. I managed to sneak away without them noticing and head to Cavallino. What type of system considers human traffickers as decision makers in the ruling and giving them authority of a sovereign territory? Furthermore, I believe that a motion for mutually agreed criteria for the membership of the SZNU to prevent dissident groups being a part of this in the future. My fellow delegates, vote yes for this motion. Thanking you.
Thank you very much.
I have a
Anyone would like
rebuttal.
the floor?
Hold on. The voice of the French was first for rebuttal, then goes to the Miss Matchmaker.
Elena.
45 seconds.
Mr. Pavel, you was sounding like massive fucking hypocrite, huh? I remember you the days of your past and your human traffickings.
Lady Sophia.
Is not representative of organizations is full of bullshit, huh? Perhaps you will step away from them, come stand with me.
Let the
Mr.
lady
Pavel. You was wrong.
Let
You
the
was
lady
you was wrong.
Okay.
Well, that escalated quickly.
And
That's about personal affairs. This is about getting a
Zoya,
group
do you
out of
have
the running of
any
a country.
evidence or rebuttal to add?
There's,
20 seconds.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, Miss Alyssa?
Zoya, do you have any evidence or rebuttal to add? Uninterrupted, please.
Hey, just personal experience. If we let blood drinkers walk, we let matchmakers walk. It's happy day.
Who let you as the voice? Jesus Christ.
And
No,
the
annoying
voice of
voice,
the
isn't it?
the voice of the matchmakers.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of really nasty rumors going around, and obviously from what you've heard from Mr. What's his name, it's completely unfounded because he said his evidence was that he saw me trying to force somebody to lick blood off a knife. That is true. I would admit to that. And I'll tell you why. It's because that particular fella held my sister up at gunpoint and threatened to cut off her ear. I didn't do a damn thing to him except for make his friend lick his blood off of his knife. So with that, I think there's no evidence to
You ought to be
support
ashamed of
this.
yourself. You're terrorists of the state.
Esta glupa kurva,
the
ti
fuck up.
objasnim nešto. Ti objasnim
Order.
nešto, you
One at
fucking...
a time, please. One at a time.
I
Would
will
anyone
speak now,
else
thank you
like to
very much.
rebut the proposed motion?
Yes.
Hi, Miss Elena Vale, let me explain something to you. You have captured females, 2 females specifically, in the past and offered to sell them as slaves to my own men, at which point we captured you and we gave you a straightforward choice. Stop doing what you're doing or we will personally end you as you are not fit for the new renewal process of this country. Let me explain something to you. There is plenty of evidence proving that you are fucking human traffickers. So, simple as enough. Do you still do the same as you did before? Let me ask you that
10
question.
seconds, sir.
Do
10
you still do
seconds,
the
sir.
same?
Okay,
Is he out of time
Does
yet?
any other faction have
Yep.
evidence or
Fucking
rebuttal?
prostitutes.
Secretary?
Madam, we got a couple people who'd like to speak about this particular subject.
Go
Next
for it.
being the Lovick would like to voice.
The floor recognizes Lovick. 45 seconds.
Alright, thank you. It has come to my attention from people within my group and people I've spoken to recently that the matchmakers are a front for human trafficking. We and many others would like everyone within the SZNU to publicly denounce them.
Okay, after him, it is the Roamers would like a voice.
The floor recognizes the roamers. 45 seconds.
Basically, I'm not gonna lie, when I've done business with other people, I had heard stories. But then again, that's just simply stories. I think just like the Brotherhood situation, until they have a trial, we can't really classify them as anything. Should we have a chance to defend themselves at least, don't you think?
Has anyone here actually been a victim of these alleged human trafficking crimes?
I can bring someone who has, if you wish.
I know, we bring witnesses
Members of
to
my
this
group
chamber.
have.
Really?
All right. Well, can we just finish up the people who want the floor, and then we can
Yes,
move on?
who else wants the floor?
Next we have the Trust.
Floor recognizes the trust. 45 seconds.
Yes.
Don't need that long.
Everyone. Sorry. Everyone has a dark past. I also know as we can't do anything. I would suggest no motions forward of denouncing them or anything and labeling them as terrorists unless we decide to put a court system, which we haven't. That is it.
Well, if there is no
Adding
court
in-
system, then we'll have to decide, like, here and now.
Yeah. Adding in people within my group have been victims of this group, trying to capture them and force things upon them, trying to force them to be bodyguards, holding them at gunpoint with shotguns, and having to
5
be
seconds.
removed from the equation. That's all.
All right.
to vote on the matchmaker issue and then
Okay.
revisit the court issue.
Now, hold on just a second. I would like a chance to speak in defense of my
Okay.
small business. Again, there's no evidence.
You call it fucking business.
Oh.
That's enough
Oh,
evidence.
yeah, yo, buddy, calm down.
All right.
Yes, order,
So
please,
your confession to the Zabor movement is not evidence. You confessed personally to us in front of us. We have
What
witnesses.
evidence
We
do
have
you
people,
have since
victims.
that situation? All right, so yeah, you catch me and my friends, you torture us, you threaten to do all kinds of things, you cut off my hair,
Torture
and of
you.
course, yeah, no, I
Torture
remember
you.
that. Sweetheart,
All right, listen
Please
to me
allow
here.
her
I'll
to
put it
speak.
simply.
Allow the lady to defend herself.
I would also like
Kurva.
to declare a conflict. There's a bit of a conflict of interest going on here because this man asked me to marry him, and I said no, and he's really upset about that.
All right, this
Okay,
isn't like
let
fucking
me
Jerry
put
Springer.
something to
Who,
you.
Mr. Pavel?
Simply,
Yeah,
if you don't know who I am,
I did not.
He did not in the first
Okay,
place, and
okay,
I'm
all
already
right, all right,
married,
all right.
as you
Come
may or
order,
may not
order,
know.
please.
Order,
For the love of
please.
God.
Everyone
SZNU,
silence. Silence.
We
We
are
can
the
only listen to
order.
one at a
So
time.
shut up.
Oh, thank you.
Someone please remove that asshole.
No, that's fine. Everyone's cool. All right. Okay, so we have another Alcyone would like the floor.
Floor recognizes Gerhard.
Thanks very much. First of all, I would like, since everybody who seems to be accused of a crime or anything else is asking for specific evidence, even if multiple people are providing or, let's say, are showing off that things have happened in the past, I would like the matchmakers and the voices of the matchmakers to propose what their small business is about, and if they had any kind of problems in the past while on doing their business, which could lead to the conclusion that they are in fact human traffickers.
Absolutely, and I can respond to that. See, we deal in a lot of different things. Basically, we bring happiness and love and romance to this really desolate kind of country. So
Oh
there
my
are some,
fucking God.
and I am talking, thank you. And so there are some people who have a particular interest in, like there's all kinds of different fetishes, I'm just saying. So you can't judge people if they have like that particular flavor of kink. And we need to, you know, we accommodate all different kinds of people with all different ways of finding happiness and everything. So there might have been a time at some point where it looked like we were holding somebody up and doing things that they didn't want us to do, but the fact of the matter is they hired us to do that. So any kind of I think I've about said all of it. I'm gonna stop talking now.
The Romans would like the floor.
Floor recognizes the roamers.
I only have one small point, and obviously this can be debated. I don't believe that human trafficking should be labeled as terrorism. It's not the same thing. It should be under a different label. That's all I have to say.
Well, if you'd like it to be under a different label, perhaps you should give us an example of the label you would like.
Well, human trafficking isn't terrorism. I don't believe if you in doing human trafficking, you should be labeled as a terrorist. Just, I do not know the politically correct term, but I do not believe it's terrorist.
All right. Next, the Zabor would like the floor.
Floor recognizes the Zabor.
Right, as the matchmaker statement, we only carry out the task that we are hired for. Basically, so you carry out any sort of task, meaning that you could even be an assassin by any chance. Are assassins accepted in normal human society? No, they should not be, and they will not be. So, example, someone hires you to get him a wife, so to speak, and you are going to capture the said woman or man, and you will, by force, make them marry the other person. You're saying you are innocent in this case just because you're being hired to do it. How is this a valid argument against anything?
Well, it's not, because that's not what I said. Did I say anything about assassinating anybody? No, I didn't say anything about that.
Not assassinate. You're taking out the context. That was an example.
No,
I'm talking about examples.
I've already defended myself as much as I need to. I've told you no. We do exactly
You defended yourself as much as you can.
as much as
And
I
you
need
can't
to.
defend yourself
You have
very
no
well.
evidence. You have no proof that I've taken anybody against their will.
Opinion, madam.
Okay.
So am I correct that the motion put forth has been whether or not to declare the matchmakers a terrorist faction because of their alleged part in human trafficking violations.
Oh, that's correct, Madam. That's
Not
the
just
motion.
declare them as terrorists, outlaw them from organizations such as this, because such criminals should not be allowed to part in such organizations and have a voice in anything.
As we voted
You really
to pass
say
before.
it's alleged when you have such an overflow of voices that don't talk to each other on a regular basis saying that they do such things?
Yeah, I think
In the
I think we
absence of a
understand
This is
ratified
not
court
alleged.
system,
It's
I'm
proven.
putting forth the motion that we will all
And
vote
you,
on.
sir, are an idiot.
Before we do the vote, there's one more person who wants to talk. That's the police department.
The
Yes.
police department, the floor, please.
We would like to clarify one thing with the voice of the matchmakers. You said earlier about matching someone else with someone because it suits their fetish, and so to speak. Now, is this leading on to prostitution?
Prostitution?
unit on the
Absolutely
way.
not. This is not a
Smith has got the vice
prostitution
unit on the way.
organization. This is based on love and romance and bringing happiness and, a
What's the
sense of
physical
comfort.
product? What is the
Okay, let's
Furthermore,
order-
the
order
What is
for-
the
SZNU
physical
has
product?
made
What I'm
no
trying to get
decisions
here.
or motions regarding prostitution one way or the other.
Madam.
What is the product? The
hold
question.
on. Police department, please do not use your voice on the floor of the SZNU to conduct an investigation. Do it on your own time.
Oh, this was
We will
just
ignore that
clarification.
voice.
This was just clarification.
No,
We gotta
we
go
will not have
find
it.
her and.
Once
Curb your
again, the
enthusiasm.
SZNU has heard no motions, evidence, or it has not had any voting in regards to prostitution, whether it's legal or not. It has never been set forth at this summit. So the question is irrelevant here.
Shall we vote, madam?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me get the paper ready.
Vote yes. Vote yes.
Order.
Okay, I got the piece of paper ready. This one's pretty clean. Okay, 45 seconds for voting starting now.
I feel this is turning into some kind of Salem witch hunt trial.
It might eventually once we get the courts going, for sure, certain, yeah. Or it might not. Depends on how well they do their case. All right. Votes are in. 14-8 vote on yes. The matchmakers should also be labeled as a terrorist organization along with the Pestilence Brotherhood.
Ha!
Will that, so say that we get the court system and running, correct? And then are they allowed to defend themselves?
At the
Bring
court,
evidence
yes.
to
The
protect
court that
themselves.
was proposed allows for them to have an attorney to present evidence against the prosecuting faction towards the panel of 5 judges from different factions as elected by this summit.
Right, I understand. I was just making sure, everyone.
So in short, yes,
has the right
they would
to
have the
protect
opportunity
them.
to present evidence before a court to determine their guilt or innocence. This is
Agreed.
if
Okay.
the court system were ratified as it was proposed.
Shall we move on to the next motion?
It sounds to me like people are wanting or feeling the need to revisit the court system, and I would like to use Alcyon's motion to do just that, or to suggest that we take the time between this and the next summit to work together to put a ratifiable court structure together.
I think that we need to work together to put it together. I think people are disagreeing of the court system because they weren't a part of it to put it together. and the laws and the rules that it will be abiding to
Well,
and
as
all,
of now,
you know?
there are no laws except the ones that we voted on. We're only voting on a structure for the court to enforce them with this proposal.
Yeah, this is just saying yes or no, do we even want a court to
To the
enforce laws?
system itself and what it looks like. 5 judges from different factions, certain length of time for sitting on the court, etc. It does not include any like we haven't even agreed that murder is against the law at this point. We have not even ratified such a law for the court to enforce yet.
Well, I believe if it gets voted no again, then we should just drop the court idea, because we can't just keep voting until we get a yes. It doesn't work like that.
So my proposal
Oh,
proposal for Alcyon is that we work together until the next summit as factions to create a ratifiable court structure.
Yeah, I can agree on that.
So we will have 2 or 3 weeks to work together between now and then on a structure for a court that we can agree upon. And then when we pass these laws, those are the things that the court system can decide guilt or innocence on. When we declare someone terrorists, we can send them to do the evidence thing that everybody is asking for. And we're not the ones deciding if, they go to jail or if they get rehabilitated or if that's for the court.
So you're proposing that we, the next few weeks, that we're putting it together as a summit.
The structure of the court, yes.
The factions. Okay.
The matchmakers would like a voice on the motion you just proposed.
Matchmakers, you take the floor, please.
All right, so this doesn't make a lick of sense to me. All right, so we have been labeled, my small business has been labeled as a terrorist organization.
Jesus Christ.
And there's no, laws or rules to actually break. So let's consider the worst possible scenario here, okay? Let's say that my organization is actually a sinister human trafficking business, and we catch people and we sell them to everybody that wants a person. And so saying we're doing that, we haven't actually broken any laws or rules or anything because there aren't any to actually break. So exactly what the hell are all of you guys trying to say? How did we get labeled as a terrorist organization when there's nothing that you can actually we have?
And someone just
In fact, there's no better argument for having a court system. There is no better argument for putting a fair court structure together, so that we can even decide if we all agree that murder is a crime, that human trafficking is a crime. That's what these voices are here together. This is exactly what we're here talking about. No better argument for putting a court system in together. But again, I think everybody needs to have a voice in what that court system looks like in order to be effective for the people whose laws it's going to enforce. So I suggest we all work together from now until the next summit to bring to the table a ratifiable working court structure. And maybe even a set of basic laws, like murder is illegal, torture is illegal, those sorts of things, and ratify those.
That pretty much kicks out everybody in here.
Well, there's a difference between murder and justice, just throwing that out there.
There's also a difference between murder and self-defense. Those are things that we can all discuss
There's no
as the
difference
voices
between
of our
human trafficking
people.
and prostitution.
Oh yeah.
Just ignore him. That's him being uneducated again.
All right. So
again, laws that could be ratified under a legitimate and fair court system, spoken for as the voices of your peoples.
Well, what she's trying to say is that the next
User in your channel is
few
recording.
weeks, she wants the voices of all the factions to get together and just to construct the court system and what is good, what is bad, what is justice.
Yes, how it will work, how long someone will be in the court system, how many judges do we need, is there a jury system, who and what will be lawyers. We need to make sure
Madam?
there aren't conflict of interest, yes.
I think everyone's in agreement that it needs to be worked on, and I certainly think that I will get copies to everyone here about what you're saying, and then maybe we'll move that on the next one, and perhaps we can move forward. However, there's a person who'd like the floor, Mr. Post wants to rebuttal?
Mr. Post, take the floor.
I would think with this whole court system, it's a good idea, but if it goes into motion, past events should not be held accountable. Once the court system is in motion, all events after that should be accountable instead of previous events before the court.
I completely disagree. But
I think that's an amendment to vote upon whether or not when we ratify a court system, whether or not laws will be retroactive.
All right, Madam, the Pestilence Brotherhood wants the floor.
The voice recognizes conditionally the voice of the Pestilence Brotherhood.
Is anyone Pestilent gonna talk? Okay,
User in your channel is recording.
turns out someone threw paper at me that maybe wasn't them. Maybe that's my fault. I'm a bad secretary. All right.
My apologies.
God damn it.
Here.
Oh, I'm sorry?
Nope, I think that's it. Is there any more motions to put forth?
Any other motions, or shall we
User
wrap
in your
up
channel is recording.
this summit for the day?
I thought I sent you a piece of paper, second.
Oh, you might have. That might have been you. Could you please continue? Sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was just going through my paperwork here. I was the one that was suggesting the motion of medical trade routes, not as
my
medical
apologies.
centaurs, but maybe medical trade routes, as we are factions, we collaborate together and set up these routes for medical trades or either trades. I mean, I'm not here, but I suggest setting up stations probably would be the worst idea that you probably can do. But setting up maybe trading caravans would be probably a better suggestion. Medicals and whatnot. Centers, I would also suggest a bad idea because anything having to do with that as bandits or other certain groups out there would want to ransack and take what is not theirs. So I'm suggesting that. Marshall, have anything to add?
30 seconds.
Perhaps also we would look at the opportunity to set up maybe some sort of ambulance transportation if we're going to be on the subject of medical, just on the basis that it's pretty expansive land. If someone gets severely hurt, I know I've been in that position before, having someone on standby for quick transportation as an assigned job would probably be beneficial to most, if not all. That's it.
Any rebuttals? I would like to take the floor. My only concern, this certainly sounds like an excellent idea. It would be wonderful to have transport for injured people to medical personnel. However, we sort of need people who are capable of doing that, working vehicles, and the ability to use them for those purposes. So it seems to me that we'll have to recruit a group of people who are willing to do this.
Well,
and I'm not even
I have
certain
no
that
problem
that's our
finding
purview.
certain people.
What if one of my brothers or myself gets injured? Do we get access to this medical treatment or not? Because we're
I think that's something that would have to be a matter to vote on.
Why does everything have to be fucking voted? Everything.
Because we're attempting to represent the opinions of as many people here as possible. It's not
If I
just
could
my country or your
divulge
country.
my opinion on that.
But we're not allowed to vote, so. Why the fuck are we
Madam,
voting?
the roamers would like the floor, followed by the vigil.
Okay, the trust put forth the motion. Let the roamers take the floor to rebuttal.
My main concern basically is what's the sort of someone setting up like a fake distress call simply so they can rob them and take the medical supplies.
Thanks for the idea.
No worries.
No, that wasn't my motion. My motion was trade routes. It wasn't
the
the
marshal-
motion of setting up areas of meeting and trade. It was. or
The Romans have
we
tried.
set up a map and mark out areas of where our, the voices or our factions that are involved in this summit would, conglomerate.
I honestly feel that this is more something that is a purview of the people who want to do it. If people are able to acquire a vehicle and work with medical personnel within the country and want to set up a trade route, there is nothing stopping them. I'm not at all certain why we should need to vote on that. No disrespect, with all due respect, I just think that it's something that people can do if they want to. All they'd have to do is recruit enough people to get it done.
I mean, I have to agree, that that's possible, but you and all of us know that without certain rules or guidelines, get out of control. You can do everything you want, but unless it's on paper, I mean, people don't really understand it.
I don't want to sound like a dick here, but 2 minutes is up and we got other people who want the floor.
Yes, okay, who else wants the floor in rebuttal?
The Vigil's up next.
Vigil?
Yeah. Basically, we have a doctor who's more than willing to help with people who want medical supplies or need them, and as well with the ambulance thing. So you could take them to the potential safe area that is being set up for treatment or whatever.
All right, and then the final person who wants the floor is the Post.
Floor recognizes the Post.
Yeah, I just have more of a question to clarify.
Go ahead.
Considering not everybody in the country is here at the meeting, how is any of this going to
User in your channel timed out.
get out to the other people, kind of within the country?
Oh,
It is
I
assumed
think I
that
can handle
everyone
that
here...
one.
Go ahead, Secretary.
Secretary is actually using the Post
User
as
entered your channel.
a person who gives
User
information
left
to
your
everyone.
channel.
We'll be handing you little leaflets that we'd like you to mail everywhere. I talked to Lumina
User in
or
your
whatever
channel is
her
recording.
name was up a while ago about this.
It is also assumed that each voice is a representative of their faction and is speaking with its own people as well as representing its opinions and goals while at the summit, as well as disseminating the decisions of the summit when they return to their people.
Okay, are we going to vote then on the motion?
I say we move to vote unless there are any other dissensions or supports.
Okay, give me a quick summary of the motion and I'll post it up for you. Was it medical
Vigil,
trade
quick
route?
recap, medical trade route with possible ambulances. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Okay.
Okay, taking that to a vote now.
Okay, I got them. All right. 45 seconds for voting. $20 left. Okay. Looks like this is a strong vote for yes. 19 for, 4 against. So it looks like we'll be working with you, Mr. Vigil, to give us the proper information to give to the Post to disseminate to everyone about this sort of thing. We'll have a talk later, I think.
It wasn't the Vigil, it was the Trust.
The Trust? Jesus fucking Christ. I'm so confused. I'm a bad secretary.
Fucking terrible.
All
Vigil
right,
supports the Trust.
let me line this
They
out
have some
for
similar
you.
and supporting motions, it seems like.
All right, I'm sorry.
The Trust is the one that laid this out. The Vigil is the one who has the resources to carry it out effectively.
I understand. So who would you like
Understood.
me to talk to
So
about this? Do you want
it
me to talk to the
will-
trust or the visual?
I think both groups.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do a little group
And the
session
roamers will
later.
happily assist in supplies.
Okay. All right. We'll set this up as a separate thing so we can keep moving along. No offense intended. The police department has a motion, madam.
The floor recognizes the police department.
I'm pretty sure this was said earlier by the secretary that territories were lost when said Minutemen were shot. So I would like to see if we can get that reestablished, since there is a new faction joining these territories.
Yes, actually, we already mentioned that as a thing for the next agenda. The cartographer will be handling the updates to the map to be. Yeah, my apologies.
Yeah, we got another
That's
thing.
on a carryover for the next summit already.
Hey, madam.
Who's addressing?
This is the chief talking through the radio.
There he is. I'm waiting on him.
User
Well,
in your channel is recording.
basically, the chief had stated a couple of days ago, we're looking to enforce, well, we already are enforcing it, but we just want to let you know that we're enforcing gun permits. Basically, if you're not in the military and or have served or have actual rifle training, normal civilians will not be allowed to have military-grade rifles, such as automatics, AKs, SVDs, shit like that, basically. And
I'm
they
assuming-
will be confiscated and they will be detained if they do not have the correct paperwork and or military background.
There
I'm
is,
assuming
of course,
you mean that you're doing
text
this
to
in
hand
your
out.
own territory?
Of course, in our own territories.
If you want to be able to carry around these rifles in our territories, you will need to stop by either the Grishino precinct or the Vybor precinct and get the paperwork done, and then we will give you the permit.
Yeah, if I may, fellas, can I talk a little bit about this motion?
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. So this is how it goes. See, there's people, right? The average ordinary citizen, and they've got themselves an automatic rifle, 75 round drum that they can just pour into the innocence of people who don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not trained. Maybe their safety's off. Maybe they're just a fucking psychopath. We don't know. So we want to be sure that whoever has any sort of mass killing capabilities, that they are properly trained and officially labeled as such to carry these massive killing machines. Now, of course, gentlemen and ladies of the summit here, we do not want to take away your guns. Everyone will have a gun. It's just the civilians. They should get bolt actions, you know?
Yeah,
and then
or
people like the
maybe a
Zabor,
pistol,
who are
shotgun.
military,
Can
and are
have my
actually
gun when you
trained.
pry it from my
Hey,
dead
this is
hands.
my fucking floor, lady.
Shut up,
Jesus.
lady.
Order,
Or
and
come
your
over
time
there.
is almost up.
You leave
All
that
right.
lady
And there
alone.
will be no violence here.
I'm just saying. My final point is military trained men should have their fully automatic rifles. Civilians should have bolt action.
Madam, there's a lot of people who want to rebuttal.
User in your channel is recording.
Yes, who would like to rebuttal that, please?
Me.
Shut up, madam. All right, the first one is.
Don't talk to
Keep it
her like
civil.
that.
Keep it civil.
Hey, leave the secretary alone.
Mr. Secretary, who wants the
User
floor
Sorry.
first?
disconnected from your channel.
I moved
Alcyon
we get
has
a
the
new
floor.
secretary.
Shut up, guy.
I'm only the secretary this time. I promise. I will never be a secretary again. Alcyon wants the floor.
I would like to take the chance to ask for rebuttal as well as soon as the answer arrives. I don't
Gerhard,
see
go
the
ahead.
need for any kind of people taking away automatic firearms out of the hands of civilians, because the automatic firearm as AKs, AUGs, M16s, M4s, farmers and whatever grant the capability of a civilian to defend himself properly against a huge mass of people. With other words, while taking away automatic firearms, you are preserving peace maybe on the other hand, but on the other hand you're taking away the capability of the normal civilian to defend himself against a mass of people who wants to harm him. With other words, even
10 seconds.
Yeah, even with paperwork, these papers might not get to the right people.
Any other rebuttals on the floor?
Well, the trust wants the floor.
Floor recognizes the trust. 45 seconds.
Yeah,
My
I would like to
statement
bring up
is
the
more-
fact is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
My statement is more that of a question about the extent to this, I have to agree with Alcyone. I don't believe in taking away people's firearms because that is, puts them more at risk. However, when you're talking about civilians and military, does prior training from before all this, even if it's not Zabor military within the country, such as this, what does that sustain for anything sort of training?
If you say you're from like the U.S. Marine Corps, yeah, you'll be good.
Hold. Who else would like to rebuttal?
I would. I'm allowed to.
Yeah, the trust still has the floor. You got like 15 seconds, mister.
I would say as like, how do you know that even if they had a military background and are allowed to operate an automatic rifle, they're not psychopaths? I mean, you're saying that they're allowed to have automatic rifles, even though because they have a military background. Oh, they should be fine. Yeah, perfect. They're fine because they have a military background. Shouldn't be able to kill us. No
5
problem.
seconds.
All right,
pretty much.
one more rebuttal,
May I
and then I'd
respond?
like the police department to rebuttal their points.
I would also, yeah.
The roamers would like the floor, and that's the last of the rebuttal, I think.
First off, I believe it should obviously be brought to a vote, obviously, but my second point was, well, I don't see how no offense, but I don't see how one small group of police officers could enforce the whole country, well, at least in your area, which I'm assuming is a big area, like, taking away everyone's automatic rifles and then hoarding them to yourselves. Like, I don't think people would take that, and it would just end in unexpected and unwanted casualties on both ends, to be honest. But that's just my opinion.
All right,
Before the PD takes the floor, I would like to clarify a point of clarification. Are you suggesting this motion within your own territory or for the whole of South Zagoria?
In our own territory.
Zagorian Police Department.
I would also like to clarify that during the discussion about the territories, it was discussed that each territory could attempt to enforce its own laws in a sovereign manner. Within its own ratified territory.
That's because my boys are cowards and they have no spine. I put the motion everywhere in the SZNU.
Okay, so then you would like to move to vote that to happen for the entirety of factions involved in the summit?
Absolutely, madam.
So now I would like to give the floor to the PD to rebuttal the points that were brought up.
Well, for that guy, the fucking marshal guy, if you have served in any military, not just Zabor, you will be good to hold an automatic. And a response to the doctor guy, the reason why we think it's okay for military is because they've actually used the rifle before. They know how it works, not because they were just in a military. Oh, they can use it. They have the training to use that rifle. They know they're accurate with that rifle. That's why.
Order.
All right. Also, what I think he's trying to say is that if you are not clearly part of a military, say, obviously, I'm just using the Zabor for example. They're very clearly a military. They have a uniform, everything, right? But if you're not, just talk to one of our guys. We give you a gun training thing. You show us that you're not an irresponsible fucktard, and we give you a permit. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
1 minute for any further rebuttals from the police department.
Boys, you got anything?
You said it loud and clear, Chief. Just gonna eat my cup of donut and
We're already fucking enforcing
madam,
this, so it don't matter.
The Alcyone would like the floor for a rebuttal.
30 seconds.
As somebody who served under conscription, I can tell you that most military personnel is after a while not even able to maintain their guns anymore as long as they are like in 10 or 20 years service. Simple things are just suffering under long time service, and being in the military doesn't guarantee that you are really capable of this. But clarify it again.
5 seconds.
It doesn't help you if you take the guns away, especially how do you want to compensate them, because an assault rifle is much more worth than a bolt action.
Time. Shall we put it to the vote?
I think that's everyone, madam.
May I clarify what the territory is for the police?
The cartographer will get with you on that.
Can we
Certainly.
have at least a brief outline of that
I don't know. I don't know what I'm voting for.
We are at least hoping for.
We're voting for this motion to pass across for all factions involved in the summit, but it still would be helpful to understand what area of the map the PD is calling its own provisionally.
Listen, we only used 2 buildings so far. Literally just 2 buildings. Precincts in Vibo and Grishino. Just the 2 police
We
buildings.
dabbled in the precinct in Novi 2 that one time.
That was temporary.
So are the police
Yeah, that
stations
was
in those
temporary, though.
towns, is that correct?
That's right. We don't want the towns. We just want the
Well,
precinct.
I mean, there was a bomb planted in the Grishino precinct, so I don't know if it's really safe anymore there.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Okay,
why we're
order,
using
order. This is
Fucking
for your own
crazy mayor
factions.
lady.
Order. Okay, so the order, or the motion put forth is for the disarmament of civilians of their automatic weapons across all of the factions involved in the summit. Is that correct?
That's correct, madam.
So throw it out there for a vote, and everybody vote the way you feel.
Okay, I'm just writing it up. One moment. Okay, I got the pieces of paper here. Could everyone please go ahead and vote on that? 45 seconds. Uh, 15 seconds. All right, votes are in. It is an overwhelming majority, 17-9, saying that no, we will not ban automatic guns from civilians within the SZNU.
I have the floor real quick.
Yeah, you can get the hell out.
Shut the
Fuck
fuck
up,
up.
Mark.
Order,
Over there, whoop
order.
that ass, doctor.
There will
I would
be
like
no
to watch the
violence
police whoop
here.
that ass of yours.
Jesus Christ.
This is not the place for this. Do we have any further motions from other factions who have not put forth one and who have a voice?
The most ridiculous motion I've ever heard.
All right, I think that about wraps up this one. Well, hold on, I just got a message. Oh, looks like the roamers have a motion to pass, or try to pass.
Keep it quick. Floor recognizes the roamers.
This is basically touching back on what I said last time, at the last summit. What I'd like to simply propose, if I think it was addressed properly, is that when dealing with large threats, external like large hordes of infected, if any factions are at war with each other, a ceasefire is simply held until that threat is dealt with.
Okay, I think in summary he wants to impose martial law on any massive
not martial law.
Oh, wow.
Just a ceasefire between groups, just until we can deal with the threat.
The board people said, not a chance.
That's quite a jump, Secretary.
I have to say.
This motion failed the last time. I'm not certain why we should spend time revisiting it.
The motion was tabled for the next time because of a misunderstanding.
Well, I think I understand, and I think I vote no.
Okay, all right. 2 minutes then for the roamers to defend this motion, and then a round of 30-second rebuttals. So roamers, 2 minutes.
Alright, look, basically I hear people talking about land ownership, guns and all that shit. Pretty much, simple fact. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Our guns are going to dry up eventually, sooner or later. Basically, do you think the infected are really going to give two shits about who's on what side?
I've got a question. Are you saying that this is a call to arms against infected only and never a group, but infected only?
Infected, and then we don't know if there are other factions in other countries surrounding us.
So you were suggesting that if the infected become a threat or an external army becomes so much of a threat that the entire country is at risk, we impose a ceasefire between warring factions.
Exactly.
This to me is slightly different from martial law.
Yeah, because he's right here.
Hold on. Alright, so you want a ceasefire. What will that accomplish without unified effort against the threat? I mean, we're just saying stop shooting each other, right? I mean, or are you actually...
Well, this is just simply a first step. I'm not a military guy, so I can't exactly know how to plan this out properly. I'm just simply saying, like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
I'd like the floor to rebuttal.
Take the floor. Any other rebuttals will be allowed 30 to 45 seconds.
Okay, this sounds like a scary imposement of powers on a group of people who barely agree to do small things. And we're talking about a national scale effort to repel unknown, unforeseen threats. I think should a threat come that is of this disastrous size that you speak of, we could then hold an emergency session and talk about it. But I don't feel it's necessary to have this in here.
5 seconds.
Until it's necessary, that's all.
Floor recognizes the immortals for rebuttal.
I think the question that we've got towards the motion is, at what point do we determine, at how many infected do we determine enough of a threat to try and make communications with the other party who is currently engaging in a gunfight with us to then call in a ceasefire? And how would we tell the people that are currently trying to kill us that we should stop firing at each other? That's all I have.
Any other rebuttals on the floor?
I think that's it, man.
Romers, it's a question posed towards you.
Well, like I said, I'm not exactly a military guy. The only thing I can really say is that if
User left your channel.
we sign a treaty beforehand, which all leaders simply sign and say an agreement.
Okay, well, before we make an agreement, we should classify exactly what makes the dangers and whatnot. You know, square things away so that if we see it, we recognize it, we can act towards it.
Motion.
I think we can move towards voting on this motion. We can vote yes, no, or abstain.
Madam?
Oh, yes.
We don't even have a
Is it possible that maybe they bring it up at the next summit after they give it a polished thought and can really show us what they mean? Because I think there's a lot of
Mr.
confusion.
Secretary, is that a move to table the motion? Does anybody second the move to table the motion?
I second.
I second.
I'll second as well.
Third.
Let's go ahead and table that motion until it can be fleshed out a little bit more. I think there's something important that the roamers want to do for peace, but they're not exactly sure how to put it into motion and get people behind it. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, with that, do any other factions who have not yet spoken have a motion or an agenda item that they would like to put forth?
Hey, hooray!
Okay, would we like to discuss who volunteers to host the next summit?
Are there any volunteers who want to hold the next summit?
I believe the Post mentioned they wanted to last summit.
Yes, I remember that as well. Is that still...
The board would volunteer, considering we're missing a valid secretary that can speak properly.
Hey, you son of a bitch! God damn it, I'm trying my
Okay,
hardest.
easy. It's a very difficult job, the job of the secretary. The host of the summit gets to choose the MC as well as the secretary. Now, I think it would be fair if everybody who wants to and has a voice in the summit get the opportunity to host. The post did mention it last time. Could we...
I can say
Let's
for
take
the
it to a
post
vote.
that seeing as the original postmaster isn't around right now,
User
she
in
was
your
up
channel is
quite
recording.
late last night, and she's currently basically unconscious. I don't really quite know what she wants, so we're just here as of right now. So we will abstain from controlling the next post, or the next meeting.
Okay, so in that case, the Zabor have volunteered. Any other volunteers, or shall we just go ahead and... the Vigil is also volunteering, is that correct?
Yep. If this safe zone's going to be established, why not have it there?
Okay, alright. If you want to volunteer, please, if you want to volunteer as a host for the next one, please throw pieces of paper at me, and then we'll put it up to a vote, and then we'll all vote who holds the next summit. Okay, the Pestilence wants it,
The summit ratified that those who had been declared terrorists would no longer have a voice within the summit.
Listen, that hasn't gone through yet because of the courts.
Yeah, but what happens if the courts never, like, happen
They're
at
going
all?
to be a thing.
Actually, the courts are there to determine whether their guilt or innocence in sentencing. We did vote to neutralize their voices once they had been declared terrorists until the courts could try them.
Where the fuck is this court?
Yeah,
Where
and
is
I am
the
aware
court?
of that, but I'm saying, what happens if the
Listen.
courts never...
Listen.
What happens if it goes for a week?
I promise you that you will all be informed and will be asked to put in your input on the courts. It was the Minutemen's fault for getting shot that they're not here today.
Scumbag. Rest in peace.
All right. So right now I'm understanding that the Pestilence Brotherhood and the Zabor are the only two volunteering. Is that correct?
I have a question.
And the Vigil. Okay, so we got 3. That's what I thought.
We need to vote on who's going to host the next summit.
Vote Zabor.
I vote the police department.
Please throw a piece of paper at the secretary with your volunteering if you would like to be included in the vote. Everybody will get a chance to host a summit who wants to and who has a voice within the summit.
Okay, I got the 3 volunteers there. We'll be handing out the pieces of paper now.
Before we vote, can I make a quick point?
Oh, sure.
The safe zone, which has been passed, is should hopefully be established by the time the next meeting comes across. So why not hold it there? It's just a suggestion.
Well, somebody has to host it.
What is the safe zone?
It was a motion passed earlier. It still needs to be talked about more, like location and stuff like that.
Oh.
But, basically, a zone is going to be set up that groups of grade 2 where you can go trade, camp, medical supplies, stuff like that.
In the first summit, we all agreed that each faction that wanted the opportunity to host the summit should have the chance to host at least one. I think that should give you plenty of time to get such a zone up and running.
All right.
Let's vote on the volunteers.
Okay, there's a piece of paper. Cast your vote. 45 seconds. Who do you want to host the next summit?
User in your channel is recording.
Okay, 20 seconds left in the voting. All right, and congratulations to the Zabor. They are the next hosts of the summit 2 weeks from today.
Have fun.
Oh, we will.
Thanking you.
No, thanking you.
Try not to kill anyone.
Thanking you.
What the
All
fuck?
All right, madam, maybe wrap this up and then we can all get back to our holidaying. Yay!
Hope you never
Yes,
stop again.
I want to very
Crap
sincerely
never stops.
thank you all for your attendance and your voices and your care for your people and their needs today. Thank you so much for working towards a better Chernerus for us all. I hope that you all have peaceful and happy holidays or whatever you're celebrating or doing with your people today.
I'm having a banana day.
Thanking you.
User in your channel